Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is John Paval. It's Opera Saturday, December 6th. We have not one, but two full-scale operas to tell you about today. One of them will be with the Vienna State Opera. One of them is with Wozzeck, which is the nickname for the anagram for the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra. And let me just adjust a little bit the camera here for the people watching on TikTok. There, is that better? I hope so. Anyway, so let me these two operas that we have for you. Let me find my my script here. The first of the operas is I'm sorry. This is there's too much going on today. Okay, the first of them is the Vienna State Opera live streaming Leos Janácek's The Makropolus Affair. This is about the woman who would live forever. And then the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra is live streaming Albin Berg's opera Wozzeck, about a poor Czech soldier, and he's not going to live forever. So let me fill you in on the background of each of these pieces, one after the other. Starting with the Makropolus Affair. Saturday, December 6th, the Vienna State Opera live streams Leos Janácek's The Makropolus Affair, about the woman who would live forever, and will she? Conducted by Tomas Hanus, with Marlis Peterson, Pavel Chernok, Bo Skovhus, Wolfgang Bankel, Lucas Schmidt, Alma Neuhaus, and Carlos Osina. That's at 7 o'clock in the evening European time, 1 o'clock on the East Coast in the U.S., 10 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. And it's on the Wiener Staatsoper's own website. Now let me find my notes. For this event, so I can fill you in on it properly. This opera has received particularly positive notices about two people in it. First of all, Tomas Hanus, the conductor, he's a Janácek specialist. He's been the music director of the Welsh National Opera since 2016, but he is also known to be directing operas at the Vienna State Opera, with the Bavarian State Opera in Munich, with Teatro Real in Madrid, recently newly appointed as the music director of the Icelandic Symphony. And as I mentioned, he's been singled out in the reviews as doing a terrific job, as he should, because he's a specialist in this music. The staging is the staging of Peter Stein, who is a near legendary director, made his name with the Schaubühne am Lehniner Platz Theater in Berlin way back in the late 1960s. So let's talk about this opera. First of all, who is Makropolus? Well, Makropolus, who does not appear in the opera at all, is Hieronymus Makropolus, who he was the court doctor for the Emperor Rudolph II ages ago, and he came up with a potion for longevity so that you could prolong your life indefinitely. And he tested it out on his daughter, who has, as the play begins, she has now been alive for 337 years. She's a beautiful woman. She's an accomplished opera singer, and she has had, it appears, countless affairs over generations because men keep falling in love with her and then they die out and she doesn't. And her name is Emilia Marti. Emilia Marti is played by Marlis Peterson. This appearance by Marlis Peterson, her first opera that she has sung in since 2 years ago, is both an artistic and a personal triumph for Marlis Peterson. Let me explain this. She first, and I'll explain to you why it's an artistic triumph because she is being praised together with Thomas Hanus as what really marks this as a fine production. She first played this role back in 2023 at the Berlin Unter den Linden Staatsoper with Simon Rattle conducting it. She has in recent years she's done role debuts as Salome in Strauss. Richard Strauss's Salome with the Bavarian State Opera with Kirill Petrenko, and she did Korngold's Die Tote Stadt also with Kirill Petrenko, and since also Albert Berg's Wozzeck is being performed today and live streamed in 2023 in the autumn. She played Marie, which is the main female role in Berg's Wozzeck with the Bavarian State Opera. Now, and she had made a name for herself in the role of Lulu at the Vienna State Opera years ago, played it for over a decade, and then gave it up. It's a very tough role to play because you get stabbed to death by Jack the Ripper every night when you're playing it. And she played that all over the world, and it made her career. But so she knows this role. She's practiced in it. She's a top opera singing star, but 2 years ago, in the middle of a production, she lost her voice. Gone. And eventually came to the realization or the conclusion there was nothing physically wrong with her. It was psychosomatic, as she puts it. And there's an article about this online, an interview with her, which I will include when I publish the clip of this separately. I will include the link to the discussion with her there because she had to regain her voice step by step. It wasn't a given. So this is a triumph for her, and it's good for you to know that. So now, getting back to the story, by the way, and she was named Opera Singer of the Year 4 times by the Opera World Opernwelt magazine. The last time was in 2020. Okay, so you want to tune in to watch that if you're a real diva and opera lover. Now, as the story opens, she has there's a dispute going on over a will, and this dispute has been going on in court forever. And one of the people who can inherit from this will is Albert Gregor, the son of Ferdinand Gregor. And Ferdinand Gregor also never appears in the story either. So, and Albert Gregor is a principal participant in all of this, and he's played by Paval Chernok. Chernok has been started out with the Bavarian Opera back in 2009. He defines his kind of tenor voice himself. He defines it as being somewhere in between a lyric tenor, a Helden tenor, and what they call the spinto tenor. And if you know about opera, then you know what that means. And if you don't, well, go look it up. Anyway, and he is like the conductor. He's a Janácek specialist. He's Czech. He's played Boris Grigorievich in Kata Kabanova with the Berlin and Stuttgart State Operas. He's played Steva in Yenufa in Munich, Riga, Stuttgart, Zurich. He's also played other Greek Czech opera roles in Martineau's The Greek Passion. He's been the prince in Dvořák's Rusalka, etc., etc. Smetana's The Bartered Bride, played Yenik there with the National Opera of Paris. So, and he played this part. He has already played this part in the Makropolus Affair in Munich with the Bavarian State Opera. He played it in Paris in 2023 with the Paris National Opera. And after he played it with the Bavarian Staatsopera over a decade ago, they made a film out of it, and he's in the film. So you've got a top guy playing this male lead role, and eventually Greg. So there's this trial going on in which Gregor is combating the Prus family, which is a very wealthy family, and they also have a claim, and that's why you have a lawsuit going on. Now, eventually, Gregor, like everybody else, is going to fall in love with Amelia, but that's kind of beside the point, because the key thing is where's the will and where's the document that goes with the will? Why? Well, because with the will, as Marlis Peterson knows, and nobody else knows this, and this is why there's such a fight going on. As Emilia Marti knows, there is the chemical recipe for the potion which has helped her to live for 337 years, and she's reaching a point in time when she needs more of it to keep living. Okay, now, so another key role here is the guy playing Jaroslav Prus, the lead person in the Prus family, and that's played by Bo Skovhus. And he's Danish. He's been around for 30 years or so. Started out with the Paris Opera House back in 1993, and he's been back there. If you look him up in the Paris Opera House, where they have a page for him, you find that as he developed his career, he kept coming back to the Paris Opera House, and he has sung this role with the Berlin State Opera already. He Speaking of Wozzeck again, he sung the title role in Wozzeck with the Deutsche Oper am Rhein in Boston at Carnegie Hall at the Verbier Festival. But he's not singing it with the Sao Paulo Orchestra tonight because he's playing Jaroslav Prus here in Vienna. Now, the other thing that's interesting about it is that he has in the past with the Vienna State Opera played the role of Dr. Schön in Lulu, and he's been around for like 30 years' time. Now, this was the opera at the Vienna State Opera where Marlis Peterson made her name and a role that she starred in for years. So there's a likelihood that these two people have worked together in the past in Lulu when she was singing that and he was playing the role of the doctor. Does that explain everything to you? Now, there is another important role in here, and that is the role of the professor, the lawyer who's handling all of these lawsuits. And his name is Dr. Colinati. And he's played by Wolfgang Bankel, he's a regular on staff with the Vienna State Opera, also since 1993. So he's been around as long as Bo Skovhus has been around. But interestingly enough, in the last decade or so, he's been doing debuts. He did a debut as the doctor in Wozzeck, which keeps coming up at Carnegie Hall in 2014. He's been doing debuts at the Semperoper in Dresden, in the Rosenkavalier. 2019 was when he first made his debut as Oberlin in Jakob Lenz at Aix-en-Provence, and in 2020 at the Berlin State Opera. So, and just recently he sang the leading role of Napoleon in Alexander Raskotov's opera Animal Farm. So these are the main performers that we have for you in the Makropolus Affair. There are several others who would be honorable mentions. You've got Lucas Schmidt playing the part of Wozzeck, who is playing a clerk who's sort of running around trying to find documents and things like that. Jaroslav Prus has a son, Janácek, whose life ends badly, and the debutante Alba Neuhaus is playing the role of Krista. Janácek Prus is played by Carlos Osuna, who is who's a Mexican opera singer, he calls himself the Mexican tenor, and Lucas Schmidt is a member of the ensemble with the Vienna State Opera House. Folks, I think this will be a lovely staging, and as I said, a triumphant return of Marlis Peterson to a role that she knows well. Reason enough to tune in and enjoy this particular opera. Now, let me move on to Wozzeck, which an hour and a half after this opera starts will be up. I can assemble my notes. I'm sorry, it does take me a second, but there's so much that's been going on this weekend. I've had digital notes flying all over the place on my computer. And if I leave them all up, I won't be able to find anything and make any sense of what I need to tell you here. So let's get them out of the way. Let's open up Wozzeck and let's talk about this production, which is coming up next. I'm sure you'll indulge me for a few moments here while I find it. Okay. Now I can pull up a picture of it for you, and we'll have a nice separate little clip that can be clipped out and recirculated. Wozzeck. There's just making things go away is harder than making them happen. Okay. Saturday, December 6th, the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra live streams Alban Berg's opera Wozzeck, about this poor Czech soldier whose life is not going to end well. It's a semi-staged concert version by the top Brazilian and international director André Heller Lopez, with Robin Adams, Astrid Kessler, Marcus Hollip, Thomas Abenstein, and others. This will be on their YouTube channel, free of charge, 3:30 in the afternoon in Sao Paulo, 6:30 in the evening in Europe, 2:30 on the East Coast in the U.S., 11:30 in the morning on the West Coast. So let me tell you about this opera. Alban Berg composed this opera before and after World War I. He was an Austrian opera composer. And it was based on an incomplete play by a German playwright named Georg Büchner. Interesting is he had to stop working on it because he was forced to enlist and fight in World War I, and he could only go back to work on it after they allowed him to leave his regiment in 1917. And then he's sitting, and the opera is about a poor, very mentally or emotionally distraught soldier who's being abused by the army and by people around him, and like I said, it doesn't end well. So the stage director, Andre Heller Lopez, he's constantly directing in Brazil. He's a top Brazilian, but international art director. In his photo there, that photo was actually taken. You see him down there in the second line. The photo was actually taken when he was directing an opera in Poland. And beside him is the house conductor, Thierry Fischer, who's the house conductor for Wozzeck, been a top guy. Now, the interesting thing about this, if you look at the two pictures that I put for you down at the bottom, this is a semi-stage production. It's a concert version, but they have this long, like separate staging area surrounded by light across the whole front of the stage, and the characters are they're not standing there dressed in elegant black tie or white tie and opera robes. They are dressed in theatrical costumes. So it's semi-staged, you can say, so let's get into the story. This story starts out, Wozzeck is a soldier, okay, and he's played by Robin Adams. Robin Adams is a baritone, started out singing 30 years ago. He was in a piece by Benjamin Britten at the Edinburgh International Festival. He is also playing Wozzeck this year with at the opera at the Beijing musical festival, and at the Opera Ballet Vlaanderen in Antwerp. So he's out there doing this. Other recent role, he's also since we're talking about the resonances between Wozzeck and the Makropolus affair, which is being almost simultaneously live streamed today. He's played the role of Jaroslav Prus in Makropolus with the Opéra de Lille, the opera house at Lille, with whom he's played a lot. He's played the king and the president and Olga Neuwirth's Monsters Paradise for the Zurich Opera. He's played the title role in St. Francis of Assisi with the Grand Theater in Geneva. He's played, this year he played Necrotazar in Le Grand Macabre at the Paris Autumn Festival and at the Ionescu Festival, which was in August, September of this year in Bucharest. So when this play opens up, well, wait, let me tell you about his lover, or his, what we'd call that in Sweden would be a sambo, he has a lover with whom they have a child, a little boy, and the lover's name is Marie, and she's played by Astrid Kessler. Now, Astrid Kessler is an interesting singer. She started her vocal training when she was in school in Seoul, South Korea. But she was so interested, she insisted on starting to learn then. Then she went to the Music Hochschule in Nuremberg. Since 2012, over a decade, she's been part of the ensemble at the National Theater in Mannheim. She's played there. She's played roles like the Contessa Almaviva in Figaro, Micaela in Carmen, Alice Ford, Falstaff, Mimi in La Bohème, Cho-Cho San in Madame Butterfly. She's sung with the Vienna Volkoper, but I don't know that she's sung with the Vienna Staatsoper. She sung with Real Madrid and with the Latvian Opera. She's played Salome, and she's played Christos Themis in Electra recently. So that is his wife, and they have a child, and there's going to be a problem with his wife. Okay, but I don't want to get ahead of the story here. Now, when the story opens, Wozzeck is working in a servile way. He's giving a shave to his captain. Okay, and the captain just abuses him and mistreats him and thinks that he's morally inferior because he's had a child out of wedlock. He's not married to Marie. Now, he had his debut. The captain is played by Thomas Ebenstein, who debuted in this role at the opera in Lyon in 2024 with Stefan Degout as Wozzeck. And Stefan Degout was singing earlier this week in a live stream we told you about from March Vivo on Wednesday. He was singing music by French composers interested in Spain. Anyway, all of this is just to say is, if you follow Access Arts Live, you see all these people as interchanging parts in the ongoing music scenes. He's done several concert performances with the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra. And he's going to be at the Comic Opera in Berlin in the role of the gingerbread witch in Hansel and Gretel. And he was at the UNESCO Festival this year too, in Salome with in a concert. That was a concert version with the WDR Symphony Orchestra and Christian Macellaro. That's the Cologne Phil, and Macellaro has a long history with that. So that's how it starts out. And the next thing that happens is he's out in the fields working with a colleague of his named Andres, and he has this nightmarish vision of the world in flames. There's a doctor who's treating him, whom he goes to see, and the doctor is played by the bass Marcus Holub. Yeah, so you see their photos across the top there in order. Now, Marcus Holub started out in Berlin as a choir boy, as many of us did, and then was at the Munich Hochschule and became a member of the Bavarian State Opera, starting his career at a very early age. He's played in all the top European opera houses, works closely, he also with the Grand Theater in Geneva, where his greatest successes were as Oaks and the Rosenkavalier, as well as in Don Giovanni. Curious thing about him, about a decade ago, he got a master's degree in cultural management, and he's been working as in charge of production and casting at the Grand Theater of Geneva ever since, while he continues also to be singing. So, and he does things like put the Wozzeck on a weird diet where all he eats is peas. So he's getting abused by his captain. He's getting abused by this doctor. And then he hears gossip that Marie, his lover, the mother of his son, has been cheating on him. And it's true. She cheated on him with the drum major, good-looking young drum major, who's played by Robert Watson, a tenor. He's on staff with the Deutsche Oper Berlin since 2016. Those are the main performers in this opera. Some of the others, Andres, his colleague, is played by Jason Bridges, who's a Swiss-American tenor, lives in Geneva, Eastman School of Music and Royal Conservatory of Scotland singer, and he works a lot with the Grand Theater in Geneva as well. So that's what you have coming to you at 8:30 in the evening European time, which is 2:30 in the afternoon on the East Coast and 11:30 in the morning on the West Coast in the U.S., coming to you from the Sao Paulo Symphony Orchestra under this interesting semi-staged version as put together by this top Brazilian director, Andre Heller Lopez. I hope that this one of these two operas today may suit you. But in any event, this will clearly be an interesting opera to enjoy for all you opera lovers out there. Folks, that's all that we have for you today. This has been an awful lot. of both these two operas and then all these other live streams that I did an earlier live stream report about. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy one, more, some, or any of these offerings today. And remember, wherever you may watch this clip, if you're seeing this on Facebook, please hold on a second. Let me correct that. If you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, do yourself a favor. Make sure that you get access to more than 1,000 live links to live performances, quality performances this year by following and or subscribing to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. Ciao for now and have a great Saturday, whatever you tune into.